Welcome back, guys. Hopefully, you're here watching us today. It's going to be a big show. Joe's on his way, and also his DR. This week is kind of the crucial week. Talking about a lot of premiums. Guys, we should trade out, and guys, we should really trade in. I know I'm tossing up with what I'm doing. On Monday, I released my team review saying, hey, I'm going to bring in the big ruckman. Since then, I've toyed with bringing Hopper in, toyed with bringing Oliver in, messing around with guys like Jack Buckley and other players. We're currently joined by DR. How you doing, DR?
Big J, how are you? I'm very good, mate. I tell you what, being a teacher, 2 weeks holidays coming up for me. Don't have to think about school for a little while, mate. So I'm in a very, very upbeat mood. Finally uploading the stocky as well. That's been an absolute nightmare this week, mate. So things are tracking well and looking forward to a big Lions win tonight, mate, by 25 plus, I think. So in a very good space, Big J.
I hope so. It's kind of the bounce back game for Brisbane, isn't it? You know, you've had a couple of shockers, and Collingwood's kind of on the up. So if you can knock them out from winning the next game, you know, you're doing quite well for your season there.
We do tend to bounce back, particularly when we get back to the Gabba as well after a loss away. So, look, it's going to be, well, probably the biggest test in football at the moment. But, look, if you're going to be the best, then you got to beat the best. So, hoping for a big showing from my boys tonight, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. I was just talking about, I don't know if you caught that, about kind of the dilemmas this year in SUPERCOACH, or at least this week. I was talking about how, you know, Monday's team review came out and I brought in the big two ruckman because I wanted to get, you know, Witts and English in after not starting Witts. I think he's on for a good run and they should be top 1 and 2. And then it's turned into Grundy and Hopper, getting those guys in and saving a boost. But then just at the moment, speaking with Joe off air, going for Oliver. What's your kind of thoughts, things that you're dealing with at the moment with your team?
I'm dealing with a bit. Look, I think for me, the issue was that I feel like I'm a couple of steps behind. I wasn't able to get all the players I wanted to because I just didn't have great mid-price starting picks. You know, having Bruin and Flanders that you got to deal with. Even the people that started with a Jay-Z or a Setterfield, they had the option to, you know, obviously use a boost and bring in the Chandler types that I just couldn't quite get to. I had to make that choice. You know, do I go with Chandler or the Jay-Z Setterfield types? You can't have everybody, mate. So that's probably my major issue at the moment. And it's the ruck line as well. Rowan and Shrek, it's just not good. Tim English is absolutely killing it, as is Jared Witt. So the ruck line's a bit of a killer, mate. But look, even to the defense, Dacos is great, but Ridley, there's question marks around Doherty. The midfield premiums, what is going on with the midfield premiums this year, Big J? I don't know what's going on. You know, you've got Oliver, who you're looking to bring in. To be honest, he's probably one of a very small handful of midfield premiums that I'd even be considering bringing into my side. He's definitely the main man, but we're obviously paying up for him as well. But it's all about that fixture as well, isn't it, Big J? West Coast this week. He doesn't have the best record against them, but history doesn't always need to necessarily repeat. I can't see him going under 125 against West Coast myself, mate. I just don't see who's going to stop him there. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Oliver owners. I just can't do it. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. I was just so big on Rory Laird. I had both of them in for a very, very long time as well. So, yeah, frustrating that I don't have him, but I like him as a trade-in option, even though you're paying up for him though, mate.
Yeah, it's really tough this year. Seems like the people like myself, I'm not sure about you, who started your Flanders, Bruin, Fife, all of these picks, have almost been playing catch-up for the past 5 or 6 weeks. Not starting an Oliver or Laird because, we assume they were going to drop a lot in price. And then now we're just kind of stuck. I know potentially I will have spent 3 boosts in 3 weeks. It's almost unheard of, but it is what it is. You've got to do something drastic to actually catch up and be ahead of the group. Is that kind of how you're feeling as well?
It is, mate. As I mentioned before, I just feel like I'm a couple of steps behind, but I'm in an interesting spot this week because I'm almost going the opposite approach to you, mate, because the way that I'm looking at it, and this may be too much of a safe approach, and I may be needing to go more aggressive here, but I'm not a Darcy Cameron owner, so I don't really need to do anything there. So I suppose my way of getting a slight advantage this week, I'm thinking maybe to not trade at all And my advantage could be to have those extra boosts and extra trades in the bank so that I can focus more on upgrading these mid prices when it comes to that stage of the season. So there's different ways of looking at it. I could go really aggressive now, but I'm probably leaning the other way. But I don't really need to do anything tonight with any Brisbane or Collingwood players.
No,
So I've still got a
no,
little bit of
definitely
time
not.
to think about it,
Yeah.
being a non-DCAM owner. But that's probably the way that I'm thinking at this stage, mate, which is probably going against the grain with the new age super coach approach, I suppose you'd say, when we're going more down that fantasy line with our aggression and the way that we trade. But yeah, no easy answer this week, mate. And that's what makes this game a great game, isn't it? Because we make different choices. We go down different paths. We take the red pill or the green pill or the red, the blue, or whatever we take, and make our own decisions in the game. But Joey, how are you, my friend?
Good, very good. Sorry for coming on late. My word, everyone is excited to get home for the long weekend. I had a look at the Google Maps, and it was like, oh yeah, I'll get home at 5:20. No big deal. And then it starts ticking up and up and up. It's like, oh no, this is not looking good here. But really excited to be here, and super excited to have you on board as well. Oh, it's always a pleasure having you on the channel, mate. Love talking to you. And I'm really hopeful for your Lions tonight. I want the Pies to get smashed.
Yes, Joey. Yes. Well, I don't know if you remember. I should even bring this up. Remember our predictions video? I said they were going to drop out of the 8, mate. Oh, that's going to age really well, isn't it? That's going to age really well. Oh, man. I should have played that safe and just gone with the army and said, nah, they're a shoe-in. I wanted to be controversial, but that's going to absolutely blow up in my face. I guarantee you. Yeah.
I guess the big question is going back to what you were saying, DR, about saving the boost. Do you really see? So Oliver's priced at 701, so pretty pricey there. Just pulling up his fixture. This week he's got the Eagles. Next week he's got Essendon. Next week he's got Richmond. The following week he's got North Melbourne, so pretty cruisy win there. The following week he's got Gold Coast and then Hawthorn. Do you really see him dropping much in price over that time? And is it better just to get him in now and then have the massive scores than, in 5 weeks I'll save the boost and then get him in later? Because you're missing out on the scores. He's not like he's going to drop a lot in price.
Know exactly what you mean. And I think it's very team dependent. This is circumstantial because you've got to have the players to actually trade out that you want to trade out to actually be able to bring Oliver in. This is a big point. So if you're someone that's running with a Callaghan, even a Warple type, who we're not really confident on at the moment, then great. Use the opportunity to get those blokes out and bring someone like an Oliver in. But at the same time, if you've got the Setterfield, the Jay-Z's, the Sheezels, if you're pretty happy with how your team's looking at the moment, then I wouldn't be actively trying to trade out blokes that you're still keen on just to get Oliver in. I think it's great to be able to do it, but I think that it's not worth trading out players that you rate just to get him in, because I think that's a little bit of a waste. But if you do have players that you still want out of your side and you need to get rid of, then I think it's a really good opportunity to bring someone like an Oliver in. So circumstantial for mine, mate.
Yeah. I guess Joe and I are kind of blessed in the fact that we've got Joe's got a Warple who probably won't be making much more money. And I've got guys like Callaghan who most likely in the same boat won't be making much more money. So to be able to actually sideways, and grab an Oliver now, it kind of works out because we're likely to be trading out those mid prices. They're not making much more money along the way.
Makes sense. If that's the situation that your team's in, absolutely go for it, because I think you've got to get rid of the Callahans. You've got to move them on. And what do you do with the money? Well, bring in Oliver, I think, is a fantastic option. And that captain option as well. That's one thing that people have been struggling with lately is who the hell do we chuck the C on? If we don't have Oliver, we're still
Oliver versus everybody is a massive score. Might as well just chuck him on, right?
That's right. So you are bringing in double points, most weeks as well. So that's another thing that you do need to keep in mind. When you look at an Oliver's average, you've got to take into account that people that own Oliver are most likely slapping the captaincy on him, and they're getting double what that average is from week to week. So that's another key point to the Oliver selection. You are getting a really reliable captain in that's, well, let's be honest, got one of the best draws that you'll see coming up in the next 5-6 weeks.
They're not getting Cornelio 58 like I did last week.
Oh, that hurts, doesn't it? That free kick, man. Come on. Damn. Really? Ouch.
We've got Theo asking, hey, lads, would you Crips? I assume it means, would you trade Buckley or Oliver? Would you Crips, Buckley or Oliver, Wilmot? Not sure, lads. Love the comp. You might have to say that again, Theo.
So I reckon he's saying a combo. Do I go the combo of Cripps and Buckley, or the combo of Oliver and Wilmot?
How do you not have Wilmot? That's the question.
I'm going Clary and Wilmot.
Yeah,
for me personally.
100%.
I think that's a pretty easy one for me.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty easy one.
Buckley is fine. I was
do it, Joe.
The way Buckley plays,
don't think about it too much. Just do it, yeah. After Rory Laird's captain's 50, so Cheese is saying after he captained Rory Laird's 50, he's got PTSD for bringing another 700k player. Yeah, but it's not round 1 anymore. You don't need to worry about it. It's only happened round 1, so round 1's finished. It's okay bringing Oliver in. Conceivably, he played so good on the weekend. He could almost just stay at this price for a long, long time. It's kind of the dilemma. I was half watching Abs's video about it just before the stream went on, and he's kind of saying, oh, yeah, whatever. But it's tough, man. Oliver's percentage, kind of going the antipod. I think 45% or someone around that mark have him now. So it's hard being the person that doesn't have Oliver that's going massive, and you're hindered by having guys who are almost the same price, like a Doherty and a Callahan, scoring less points, right?
Sure, man. You're making me think, Big J. You really make me think.
I'm personally, what is holding me back and what's keeping me up at night, I'm telling you, is that it just happens to be a year where you paid up for these players who you expect to be consistent, but you haven't really been getting that consistency for one reason or another. Like you pay up for a guy like Doherty, who a lot of people would have touted to be the safest of the 600k defenders. But if you went anybody else, it probably would have been better for you, because if you had gone with Dawson, nothing bad has happened with him. If you'd gone with Sicily, nothing bad has happened with him. They haven't been torching it. You haven't been punished. It's not like they've been doing really well. Even if you went Stewart, Stewart got injured round 1, but you could have just gone straight to day costs, save yourself 100k. It just so happened that of the 600k options, Doherty was, to this point, the weakest one. But it didn't have to be that way, because his performance last week was insane. He had 39 touches, 10 marks, a goal. Just things haven't been working out. I think if the bad games that have happened have already come and gone, you got to look forward to the future and whether or not you see this player remaining a keeper in their position moving forward. And I think with Walsh's imminent return, I think we might see an improvement in Doherty's scoring. So I was fairly sure not too long ago that, you know what, I'm going to get rid of Doherty. He's bleeding cash, and I'm going to try and get in Clayton Oliver ASAP. But the more I'm thinking about it, it's like I got to try and think of filling out my team. All right, not missing out on Clary is a big deal. It really hurts, but I don't want to field rookies. I'd much rather field a Doherty than field an extra rookie or mid-pricer that isn't going to match the output of a Clary and a rookie. I think Doherty and a mid-pricer in the long run will hold me in good stead. And there's still a chance Doherty could come good, right?
39 touches. He's finding the ball. 39 touches means he's finding the pill. So that's a positive in itself for me. We know he was a bit of a butcher last week, but I had my notes that in the third quarter, his first 9 disposals were all effective. So it's not like he can't use the ball well. He just had one of those off nights, not too contested as well, which I think hurt him slightly also. But going back to your point, Joey, I think that he benefits from Walsh coming into that side, going down back again. Sometimes I feel like he can get caught in the middle a little bit, in a bit of no man's land, I feel. So I think that's real positive to the pick. But in saying that, he's in no man's land. He's picking up almost 40 touches last week. So for a bloke that is picking up that much of the ball, I'm pretty keen just to leave him in my side and hope that efficiency just improves, and maybe he can get a bit more of that contested style to his game, possibly even 3-4 more contested per game. That'll lift his ceiling up as well. So I'm probably not as worried as other people are on the pick anyway, mate.
If Doherty came in and his scoring jumped up a little bit, and you could grab him again at, say, a 480k, which would be like a Liam Jones upgrade plus a rookie, would you do the trade now, knowing in 3 or 4 weeks you could grab him at that price?
What's he now? So what's
so he's now 570 odd.
Yeah, he's
so
568.
So,
he's 568 with an average of 89. And if he scores a 93 this week, he's dropping 32k. So he probably gets to around that 480 mark before he starts going. Unless he gets a 130 score, he's probably dropping down to around that 480 mark in 3 or 4 weeks, potentially. So 3 weeks is 480k. Offload him now. Yes, he bounces back. Grab him back as an upgrade target later. When you Jones and like a Wilmot mature enough in price, like you can just go 1 for 1.
It's a tough one.
I don't think you'll get that cheap. I know it's insane.
He scores a 93, he drops down to 32. He drops down to 330, and then next week he's still got a negative break even because his big scores out of his line, and he's like 500k. So his break even probably goes down to like a 140 or a 130. You can drop again.
All of his projected scores are 93, 93, 88, 96. Like, he's not projected any 100 plus scores.
No, and he's going to keep dropping in price.
Yeah, but I think Doherty can go 100 to 105 for the year. I think Doherty can go 100 to 105. I think I don't think he will get to that cheap. I think you're going to get Walsh in next week. He won't play seniors this week. He's going to play VFL this week, and then he'll come back into the side next week. I think we'll see an improvement, a market improvement in Doherty's scores from next week onwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to lose more cash, but I don't think that loss of cash is a big deal if you're going to be holding him for the whole year. You consider him a keeper. Your losses only get actualized and really felt if you were to trade him out, because you paid X amount and then you only got this much from him. But if you're holding him, I don't think you're going to feel the loss that bad. And I've already used quite a few trades trying to fix my starting team. I think holding on to at least this trade could be good in the long run. I'm more likely to get rid of a guy like Ridley, for example, who has shown that he's definitely not going to be a top 6. Doherty might be a top 6, but Rids won't be. As much as I love the guy, he's not going to be a top 6. So if I could maybe flip Ridley to get a guy like LDU who's shaping to be maybe a top 8, I think that sort of trade might be worthwhile as opposed to getting rid of Doc.
I guess the question is as well is that there's a big consensus with some people that Doherty's not even going to be a top 6 anymore. Yeah. That the like of Sard, Dacos, Ryan, Sicily, Dawson, a few of these other players who are averaging like your 105, 110s, that they might actually kick Doherty out of that top 6. So you could potentially get rid of him now and then, not have to think about bringing in a guy or keeping a guy, those awkward conversations with yourself. Oh, do I really want someone who's like best 12 in the defense, right?
It's all what you project for him, isn't it? Really, it's we obviously don't have a crystal ball, but I think this one's a little bit of gut feel. I'm in the camp of hold. I'm in the camp of hold for the moment. I can definitely see. Look, if Doherty's one of your major problems in your side, then you're going bloody well, And if you can do that as a luxury, then I say go for it. But in my circumstance, I don't feel that I do have the luxury of trading out someone like a Doherty at this stage, unless it was to make another beneficial move to my side. You know,
Mm.
would you go down to someone like a Will Day and then use that cash to upgrade another mid-price to a Clary? There's lots of circumstances where it could be beneficial, but going back to what Joe said, you don't feel that loss if you're planning on keeping him for the year. And if you think he can get back, and it seems like Joe and I are of that belief, particularly when Sam Walsh comes back into the side, then I'm a big believer in keeping him. And hey, maybe when Walsh does come back and for the first 2 weeks, Stockerty's still not scoring that well, then maybe that's evidence enough to go, all right, well, we gave him all the chance in the world. We did the right thing. We were patient enough, but now it's time just to get out of this. And I don't think he'll reach diabolical, losses anyway. So that's just the way that I'm thinking on him. So either way, boys, it's team dependent, I think. Keep on coming back.
I guess my final thoughts are just kind of, if you do hold him and then you decide he's not, potentially he's going to be 100K cheaper than what you could have had now. So you're you're losing out on 100K.
Yep. Totally get that. Totally get it.
Nice. So what we're saying here, Luke was saying, good friend Luke, nice to see you on the show today.
Legend.
Is it more important to boost to get a primo or to get a cash gen player? I'm going to let you guys.
I wouldn't boost to get a cash gen player. I think boosts are so, because cash gen, in a lot of circumstances, you get them just from doing a downgrade. I think it also depends on what you're
now definitely,
what you're forecasting, like what your plan is. Like for next week, for example, you're eyeing someone like a Stewart that you absolutely must get next week, for example, because you don't want these boosts are really precious. There's only 5 of them, and personally, I've already used 2, so using a third one, I'm definitely against. It would depend on how many boosts you've used, Lukey. I don't remember how many you've used, so personally, I think it's you're better off using a boost to get in an Uber Primo, someone that you want to get before they price rise again, for example. I wouldn't do it to get a cash gen player personally.
I would agree on that. Yeah, won't add a lot to it. I just think with the primo, you've got to be really confident. Either way, don't you? You've got to be confident. If you're using a boost, then there shouldn't be too many question marks about any of the plays that you're getting in. You should be really confident that using that boost is going to be beneficial to you. So the primo that you're getting in my opinion, should be an absolute fallen primo or one of the best of the best. Probably Oliver, I think. I come back to Oliver a lot because he's really the only bloke, maybe apart from Josh Kelly. I'm never been a Kelly fan due to durability concerns and burnt me, etc., etc. But I thought he looked really good last week. He was looking good. Was it round 1 before he got concussed? So he's the other bloke that I may be having a little sniff around. But Clary is by far and away the primo player that you want to get in if you can. By far and away, in my opinion.
Before I head that off, thanks Global for donating some money. Bloody fantastic.
Global, do you know what? Global is a legend as well, and he even offered to chuck in a couple of packs of cards for the winner of my group as well. So absolute legend, my man. Thank you very much for donating to the channel.
Love you, Global. Thank you so much, mate.
Global, you're the beautiful human.
2 ways. I don't think it's relevant so much now because our corrective trades are done. You're not missing out on 2 cash gen players coming over the bubble. I'm happy if you want to go 1 up, 1 down, and then spend your 3rd trade to offload a Callahan to someone else who's going to make a lot more money. Like a rookie that you've missed out on, say Callahan to a Buckley, that kind of thing, who's projected to make another 150K, something like that. I'm okay with sidewaysing mid prices to grab that cash gen player, but also it really just depends on if you think someone's going to be available later on as well. So that's it for me. It's kind of as you go, that kind of thing. Let's keep going down. Yeah, so Luke's saying here, considering a boost going from Darcy to English. So potentially there, if you don't think Darcy's going to be top position anymore, You think his run's not that great. I think he's very Freo dependent, as we saw versus North and against West Coast. How well they do in the structure and things they set up with, it will determine his scoring. But he only scored a 132 against no ruckman. So that in itself doesn't look fantastic. 20K, well, now it's like 70, 80K more, and you can grab an English or a Wit. So if you don't start off with one of them, it's not a bad trade. Duke was asking, is it worth going Ridley to Sard this week? What's your thoughts on Sard, guys?
I love him. I love him as a pick. Janeth was all over him in the preseason. Disposal count isn't overly high, but he's just so damaging and effective with the ball in hand. When Sard gets the ball, that something exciting is going to happen, and something positive at the end will be there with him. So, look, Ridley to Sard. Oh,
I'm not against it personally.
You're not against it?
Yeah, I'm not against it. Because Sard could be top 6. Ridley,
he's tracking top 6 at the moment.
Are you that confident, Joey, that Ridley's not going to be top 6? Are you really confident on that?
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah?
I think I am. I think I've seen enough that he's not a pig, and he doesn't demand the ball anywhere near as much as any of the other guys in the top 6. He's a very chill guy. His temperament is very calm. You listen to the way he talks, the way he plays the game. He's happy as long as the team is winning. And he's sharing the ball a lot. Now, I was a lot more bullish on him earlier because there was no Hind in the team. There was no D'Ambrosio in the team either. So now these two guys have come back in, and it's no longer just this small core of ball users out of the back line anymore. You've now, Brad's now implementing more people in the back line. So you got him, you've got Redmond, you've got D'Ambrosio, Hind, even Kelly last week was getting in on the action. So you're ending up now with a lot of people that are going to be distributors, that the team is just happy. It's not going to be just a funnel through Ridley. So I think he's not going to be a top 6 personally. So whereas Sard, he very much could be. And you could rock a Sard and Doherty backline, and you can ride the one, you're sort of like handcuffing them so that the one that goes big, you're going to have him.
It's a good point. See, I was a little bit more bullish on Ridley, but I respect your opinion so much, Joey, and particularly being a Dons man. So I'll absolutely take that on board. I was still thinking there's a slight chance for top 8, but after that summation that you just gave, mate, yeah. So look, if that's the case, if you really don't think Ridley's going to be, I'll go just say close to 8, then good move then, because I think Sard certainly. What do you think, Joey, happens when Walsh returns? So we think it's going to be positive for Doherty. Doherty going back, is that going to be positive for Sard? What are you thinking, mate? Or will that affect Sard at all? Because maybe that's something we also need to look at if we were to recommend someone like a Sard. If we're taking into account the addition of Walsh for someone like a Doherty back, do you think that's going to affect him too much at all, mate? Maybe take some of his ball, or maybe
I'll
not?
jump off this. I'll jump on this after.
I think it could, but I'm thinking more so not, because the way Carlton seem to like to play the game, when they want to, I think it's matchup dependent, as well as when they decide to, because they're now developing under Vossi, and they're trying to, and they're not just one dimensional anymore. They now have a couple of different modes. They can go fast, or they can be methodical. And I'm thinking that when they play fast football, they obviously much prefer to have the ball with Sard, because Sard can break lines, do things very differently. Whereas when they're playing a more tempo, control, chipping the ball, dissecting through players, through kicking, then I think they're much happier having a guy like Doherty, because Doherty isn't the fastest guy. He can cover ground, yes, but he's not the fastest guy. So he can always present into good options, poke holes in defenses. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember off the top of my head how great of a ball user Walshy is. But Walsh's biggest attribute is his ability to run all around the ground. He'll run all day. and he's great on a wing as well because of that attribute of running all day, every day. Now they've added Akers as well, and they've got Chera, so they might not have him be on a wing so much, but he could
Hollins as
almost
well.
play
Ollie
that.
Hollins.
Yeah, Hollins as well, the rise of Hollins, and I think he nails his spot on the wing as well. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you've got a guy like Walsh who probably could play similar to Setterfield in terms of presenting up as a link-up option, coming out of halfback, receiving a kick in the middle of the ground and wheeling and going. I think they like to chip the ball and flip the ball around. A bit like how the Bulldogs, you'd think that there was no way all of those doggy midfielders could all score well. But they all found a way to do so. You know, they were just a black hole. They would suck up all the points. And I think it's sort of similar with the doggies, with the Blues players. They love to chip the ball. They're not just one person run and carry. Even Saad, yeah, he can tuck the ball and run. But they're starting to play differently now. They're now getting players coming in from the wings, choking the contest, and then spreading out again. They're playing a different brand. I think they can all coexist.
Great summary. The slow and the fast play.
If you watched our video with Pommy, we're talking about Doherty, and one of the things that he brought up was, as Joe was mentioning, their team's got a lot better. It's not kind of Carlton from 2 years ago. The new coaches come in, that they've created all these avenues of scoring and avenues of distribution as well. So it's not even like Doherty's the main kick-out person anymore. You know, Young's taking it, Mitch McGovern's taking it, Doherty's getting a limited version of that as well. So potentially he could be losing 3 or 4 different avenues of scoring that he relied on to actually get that big scores. Yes, he got his 39 touches, but out of the last 3 games, I think that was maybe his only one that he actually got like 30 plus with. So yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens over the next couple of weeks. Do other people go out of the back line like like a Cowan or someone, and then, you know, Walsh comes in and Doherty gets moved to the back line? Maybe that frees up a little bit and frees him up a little bit. But, you know, it'd be almost like if Zeeble was there and then Hall came in and then Sheasel's come in and then Ben Mackay starts taking kickouts. Where's Zeeble going to get these scorings from, right? He might get a few touches and things like that, but he just isn't getting the same amount of ball use as what he previously was. It's very interesting. And I realized I can go Ridley and Callahan to Oliver and someone else. So maybe I'll have a look at doing that while we're on the stream.
Ooh,
Ridley to Oliver is a bit juicy. I'll take that. Keep going down.
What is the best trade? I go to Buckley, Ridley to Saad, or go to Jones? What is the best trade? Buckley. I know Big J's big on Buckley. For me, I'm not 100% sold. I'm not jumping on a guy who's already made 70K, and I'm watching him. He plays very one-on-one defensive lockdown. If he was to have a game where he's giving away a few free kicks, a bit like Cogs did the other day, then he could absolutely drop you a 20. I think he's capable of that. You know, I probably Jones. Which Jones are we talking about?
That's what I was going to ask.
I think
Liam
people
Jones,
are considering bringing Liam Jones in, because now that 5's out of his rotation, his break-even's actually gone back to being negative now.
I'm actually thinking of bringing Jones back in. As crazy as that is, in order to try and facilitate some sort of upgrade to a primo in the mid, an uber primo. I'm thinking maybe getting Jones back, because now, exactly as you say, he's now got a -6 break even, so he can well and truly make some cash now. He's only moved like 8K because of that 5 in the first place. So for someone like that, I don't mind trading in. Whereas Buckley has already made 70K. That was, I think, his biggest price rise. I don't think he's gonna. I don't know. He could make a lot more money, but then again, not many people will have him either. So I won't be burnt by missing him.
Buckley's an interesting one because he doesn't get a heap of the ball. It's a lot of what he does without the ball in hand, those pressure acts, sorts of intercepts, 92% efficiency last week as well. So just not waste as well, wasted one disposal at the end of the day. So I think, look, job security is not too bad because Alia's out. It was a late in for Alia, I think round 1. I think he's out for about another 5 or 6 so weeks. So I think he's played himself into the side. But yeah, I just think if he has a down game, which is very likely in the role that he plays, then that cash gen's just going to halt, and he's going to have to rely on getting a couple more decent games in the system as well. I think last week was a week to go. I'm almost going to say the ship has sailed, particularly with a Buckley type pick. I may be completely wrong, but I would go Ridley to Sard personally. I think go to the Jones. Well, you said you look to bring in what's Goda, so I've got it.
I think Goda's pretty average now.
So Josh,
Yeah, I wouldn't go. Yeah, I'm not. I think Goda should go. I'm not sure how much money.
22. So he's got 214,200, 3-round average of 53, break even at 22. They're rejecting him to go 60 for some reason. I'm not too sure why that is, but yeah, I've got the chop symbol on him on the stock market. So
Huss is saying, "How you doing? How you doing, DR?"
Oh, sorry, I was just off the screen.
I know, all good.
Oh, your boy Huss. How are you, my man? Going well, mate. On holidays. Look, the SuperCoach team isn't going overly fantastic at the moment. But after speaking with these two legends here, I'm getting the best advice that you can get. So it can only improve. It can only go up from here. And also on the stock market this week, this is a first. We have a new symbol. You're going to have to check this out. It's still currently uploading. But this great man, Joey, here, has his head, and we have a centre bounce symbol.
Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. I still can't believe it.
Will Set a Goat. We've even got the nickname there. Will Set a Goat. There's the nickname there. There's Joey's head there, and the centre bounce symbol there as well. Had to put that in. Just dedicate this pick to you, Joey, because you were all over him. You're a Don's man. You're a great man. So you've got your head on there, Joey. You've got your head on there, mate. That's going to be permanently on there as well, mate.
Yeah, my head's there. And my head's going to explode, mate. Take care of that.
The big question for me is, does Setterfield play? That Corky did not look good over the week. So having brought him in last week and coming out with an 80, really hope he gets up somehow for this game, but I'm not ultra confident in it.
It's all right, Big J. We've got Oscar Baker, mate. We've got Oscar
Baker.
We've got Oscar.
Baker knows the lift.
I might have to play Will Phillips on field the way I'm going.
Yeah.
Big Will.
Cameron to Chandler, Callahan to LDU, Marshall to English, leaves me 144 grand in the bank. So Darcy Cameron to Chandler. Chandler, I think, is an absolute gun rookie, and he's even a fieldable option this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Callahan to LDU and Marshall to English. Whoa! That is insane.
So hang on. So he's going out. Cameron, Callahan, Marshall,
and Marshall
getting in Chandler, LDU, English. Yeah, like
where's the downside? That is unbelievable, Justin.
144K in the bank. Give me this trade, can you? Oh yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
You're on a winner, Justin. Congratulations, mate. You could be in to win the cash this week. Make sure you got SuperCoach Gold or something, mate. Unbelievable.
Absolutely, invest this week. Yeah, great trade-ins.
Setterfield early to LDU before his price rise. Setterfield's got a lot of money still in him to make. I'd feel really bad trading him out before he makes more. I reckon Setterfield can hit 500K personally.
No. It's not going to happen.
I'd be keeping on the setters.
Yeah. For me, it depends on if he plays or not.
Injury as well. So,
yeah. If Setterfield doesn't play, we're in trouble. So,
mate, if Setterfield's injured game is 82.
No, but like if he doesn't play, let's say he doesn't play this week, and then potentially he's a 50-50 for next week because he has a bad Corky, you're missing out on a huge kind of upside, and you're holding 400K on the bench. Like,
I can't imagine he'd miss 2 games if he was able to play through it last week.
Maybe.
Interesting. I hope he gets up. The great man.
I think I'm going to have to fade Will Day and keep Ridley. Look, Ridley could have a good game this week. He's playing the Giants, who don't have the best midfield, the best forward line. We're going to be playing at Marvel. Last week, he dropped quite a few marks that he probably would have taken. It was a wet, slippery game at the MCG, and he had a few turnovers that really hurt. I don't think that's going to be the case this week. You can certainly hold Rids this week, and he's not going to bleed a lot of cash. if he hits his projected, he's only going to lose about 10 grand. So it's not going to be hurting you much, and you can still hold on to him with the hope of maybe flipping him to a Tom Stewart next week, who hopefully gets tagged out of Oblivion to tank his price a lot so that we can get him cheap next week.
What was that score last week? Man, come on. Oh,
He's having a laugh there.
Oh, he was 100% Big J.
Your boy Huss Callahan to Cozzy Pickett. Overall thoughts for Cash Gen?
To Cozzy?
Cozzy Pickett has only played one game, Huss. Waiting a week to see how he goes is free. It's just get a free week of information, get a free swing at it, and you get to see what his role is 100%. And then again, he's got such easy competition against West Coast. You might not even get a good read there either. So I'd suggest waiting a week. I don't like going early on anybody.
Nah, it's a no for me.
I like Callahan out, but not necessarily to Cozzy. So I think if you're looking for cash gen, maybe you go Callahan down. You got Rouston that's on the bubble this week. Don't know how you feel about him. Pretty good CBA rate, low disposal count though. A little bit hard to predict, but they're giving him some opportunity there at the moment. You've got Van Ruyen's. He's early. Oh, Phillips. Phillips is the other guy.
Yeah,
he's an interesting one, Big J. Phillips. With that sub risk, man, like, Simpkin didn't play last week. LDU wasn't in last week. I really don't know. With Will Phillips. I could see it going really well or really poorly with Will.
Yeah, I think
we
want to play him. We
him.
want to play him. He definitely wants to play. We want to play him. It's just getting that match fitness time down with his injuries and kind of missing games last year. That's why he's been the sub. That's why he's slowly coming into it. But I think at the moment, he seems to be best 22, especially with how well he did last week.
Greenwood got subbed.
I think it was Kelly Underwood that kept calling him Tom Powell every time he got the ball, which was fantastic. I love when that happens. Tom Powell, number 20, number 29 or whatever. So yeah, I don't think she knows what's going on all the time. But we want to play games into him. He's got an average of 70, so he's currently out averaging Davey. He's out averaging Baker. He's out averaging Wilmont. Who else is he out averaging in our teams? Not Chandler. He's out averaging like the two forwards at the moment who are on my bench. So if he plays with a 71, he should be able to reach that at least 300K mark in the next couple of weeks, which is all we need, right? So just dependent on if he plays or not for me.
Yeah.
Which Primo do you guys go for before the price rises? Josh Kelly or LDU? Jeez.
Kelly.
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Kelly.
Go
Kelly. Kelly. LDU is fantastic, but Kelly, I think, has got the better team at the moment. So you're only competing against his injury history. That's all you're competing against with Kelly. LDU, I don't think North Melbourne can support him as much at the moment. So LDU may get a bit more focus than what a Kelly will. So I would go Kelly. He's got the history versus a breakout player as well. So there's some people saying Kelly's going to be top 8.
Doesn't LDU have some sort of history in the back half of last year?
Yeah, but back half
90,
of last
92,
year.
109, 138, 88, 124, 149, 110, 104, 68, 119, 141, 95. He's sort of was showing us in the back half of last year what he's capable of, and I think you'd agree with me that North Melbourne's better this year than they were last year.
Yeah.
So he's a bona fide breakout. I think the writing's on the wall that LDU could be an absolute gun. Whereas yes, Jelly is sensational, but history is always like bound to repeat itself, sort of thing. Like the guy is like cursed. I don't know what it is. Like that's the reason why I'm not getting English as much as I want English. And he is R1 for as long as he's healthy. But it's literally only for as long as he is healthy, because then I'm going to have to trade him out. Like there are some things that are just written in stone, written in the stars, It's meant to be. And when you're a guy like Kelly, who's been in the system for over 10 years, and with the same thing over and over again, that inconsistency of performance, of being out there on the park, I can't go there. Personally, I just can't risk. I don't want to trade in primos only to have to trade them out again. So yeah, I'm not a fan. I personally would go LDU, and I think I will this week even. As crazy as that is, I might not go Clary. I think Clary will. If Clary stays at 700, so be it. Congratulations. But LDU, you're never going to get him this cheap ever again, ever.
Yeah. Time Deepay saying Doherty is like crisp and short last year. Joe, check private. Last year, get rid of him as early as you can. Yeah, it's rough. Crisp definitely hurt me last year. Maybe Doherty becomes that same type of player as well. It really did feel like you look at the numbers with Zach Williams in the team and Doherty in the team and kind of seeing how Sard almost becomes a better player and then Doherty becomes so much worse. Kind of that avenues of scoring like we've spoken about before. Something to really consider for him kind of coming into this week and then the following weeks as well. The lucky thing is he's not playing tonight. So you can just hold out and be like, yep, I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. Potentially having to put like a Wilmont or someone on the field. Yeah, here's a question for you before the team sheets drop in a couple of minutes. Would you this week field McKenna or Wilmont if you have one space left?
I've been tossing and turning with this question myself. I'm finding it really, really difficult. I'm still keeping faith in McKenna. Mm-hmm. I'm still going with Connor. Mainly because Wilmont last week, it was all about his fourth quarter. Without that big fourth quarter, we're in some pretty big trouble there. I think, is Rich out? I think Rich might be out again this week. So with Monty the last couple of weeks, you had Coleman out with concussion, and then you had Rich out as well last week. So he was actually spending a little bit of extra time down back, which is good for his score, I think. We all hate that wing roll, don't we, for SuperCoach? But I was actually listening to an interview, I think it was today or yesterday, and Chris Fagan was really talking him up, saying that, we love him in the side. We love the energy that he brings, his character. He's a real extrovert, and we love different personalities around the club. So I'm a massive fan of Modi. But if I'm comparing the two, I'd probably prefer McKenna's role a little bit better because I know that he's going to be playing the majority of his time down back, whereas I think Wilmot will play a little bit more time on a wing, which is not the preferable role for me. So it's a close call, and it's almost flip a coin. You wouldn't be surprised to see either one outscore the other, but probably Connor, I'd go, mate. But it's a tough. I'm looping Wilmot anyway, so I've got like Chesser. Then I've got
you held him
in my. I held him. I'm going to hold him for a week, use him as a loop, and then DPP, if Van Rooyen looks like he's going to be a good selection, I might just go him, I think, mate. So that's my plans anyway. See how it goes.
I'm half considering going Green to Van Rooyen, depending on how we go.
Green could be another option, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Global here. The problem is that the cash cows haven't started mooing yet. So it makes it a tough decision to move off early to get the next cows coming through. Absolutely. Global.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. That's why I don't want to move off of Setterfield. That's why you don't move off of Hopper if you've got him, because he hasn't even started to make any money for you yet. A guy like Warple, though, who appears to have had a role change, playing more forward, lost CBAs compared to what he had in the beginning of the year, dropped a 40-odd, 45, 48, whatever it was. That sits in his 3-round average. That hits into his cash-making ability. And that's the only reason why we have him. So that's why I think of those mid-prices, even guys like Finn Callahan, people that have really stifled their cash gen, are people that you can move out. And that's why I'm moving Warple out, and I think I'm going to get Liam Jones in, because I think Liam Jones is now back to a negative break even with that 5 out of his system. So it's all about making your money, getting your cash gen right, and you can afford to miss a guy like Clary now. He's not going to go anywhere. You're going to get him in your side eventually. Just make sure that you're not blowing up your team in order to get him. If you're gaining if you're gaining 50 points from one primo to get to him, but you're losing 80 points from somewhere else, that's still negative. You haven't actually gained much. So don't blow up your team, guys. It's really important that you don't do that.
Yeah, you say that, and then Oliver's versing West Coast and scored more than Ridley and Callahan put together. So
I said don't blow it up. If you're getting rid of genuine underperforming, like people that you are sure that you're forecasting aren't going to be top 6. So if you're getting rid of Ridley, for example, to get in a guy like Oliver, Ridley and a Warple, if those two go out and you get Oliver in, then yeah, because Oliver alone will outscore both of them together. So I think that's right.
Teams are out.
Teams are out? All right.
Apparently, according to Callum.
Here we are.
Let's smash a couple more of these. Oh, no, that's my big head.
Oh, no.
Get rid of that. Yeah.
Get rid of that. We want to see DR's face. There we go. All right. Let's go
Tigers rest stars. Here we go.
Oh, what stars are they resting? Just don't be bloody free.
Picking Hopper. Oh, Jackson Pryor. Here we go. Darcy Fort's out. Reeve McGuinness. Jackson Pryor's in. Darcy Fort and Noah Ainsworth out. So McKenna in the back line with Wilmot. Ashcroft on the wing. Not that matters too much.
Ash Johnson in the ruck. So they're starting with Ash Johnson. Wow, okay.
Oh, they got Oscar McInerney.
No, I was saying for Collingwood.
Oh, sorry.
Ash
Johnson is they're going to start again. That's right.
Yeah, they don't have anyone else.
Is he that tall?
Yeah, they're going to go Ash Johnson and McStay. They're going to be doing these two.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The goalie named the half forward. Who knows if that's actually going to be the case?
Doesn't matter.
They got Bobby.
That in the middle.
Really matter.
Juicy.
Okay.
You're going down, Joe. Oh, snap. I thought that was going to
happen. LDU is in. Let's go.
Roads grow midden.
Who's on that interchange, though, for North Melbourne?
Goda's dropped. Greenwood's dropped.
Ooh.
You know what that means? Where's Phillips? Is Phillips in?
Yeah, he's on there. He's there, boys.
He's in with Simpkin and LDU.
Yep.
He's a trade-in. He's an option now.
Yeah, he's an option. You know who's a sneaky option that I think only JP's really picked up, and that's Charlie Comben. For the amount of work that he's done, I didn't really identify that he was going to be that ruck forward position. And if you watch my DPP video, it looks like he's actually pretty set for it as well. So could end up coming in as a really good R3 option, but also making you a hell of a lot of money. I think the kid's almost 200K already after one price rise. Very good. No one's talking about
an emergency.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, I heard something like that might happen.
Cowan's in. Doherty or back pocket. Actually, that's not too bad. If Doherty plays there, it's actually quite good for him if he plays back there.
So no Kennedy this week. I know that he was a potential coming in. So they must be putting him through the VFL. So nothing's really changed with their midfield, which was the big issue for Doherty for last week. So something to think about over the next kind of day. They also scroll down, Joe. Let's go.
Pedlar suspended, Berry arrested, McHenry. So nothing really has changed here. Chapman injured. Johnson's been dropped.
Brendan Cox in the back line.
So bad.
Coxie.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
People got wrecked by him last week. It wasn't very good.
Will Brody still not in. Could Will Brody be the sub this week?
That's huge. I don't know what's happened to him. He can't be out of favour, but Brody missing another game. Like, maybe he's just not match fit, or he didn't come to training 1 week or something. Who knows?
I reckon it might even be a choice just due to the way that their style of play. Do we go with Jager or Will Brody?
Yeah.
With them both in, are they too one-dimensional there? I'm not too sure. You've sort of got Sarong, that hard nose. Yeah, not too sure. Surprising, though.
All right. Next game.
Hopper's
Dusty in. Sonzi in. Hopper in. Out. Ooh, no Jack. No, Maurice has been dropped?
Oh,
That's
forward pressure.
Rough. Poor Maurice. And nothing. No change for the Dogs. So they're going as is. Interesting. So Tyler Young, named on the fullback on the field. Normal. I wouldn't go there. Would you go Tyler Young? Anybody?
Not for me,
I still
mate.
like the pick. I still reckon I'm still on my Dimmer Hardwick plays them if they're playing well. So I think it's up to Tarrant to fight and get in versus the other way around. Yeah, Hopper's the one.
Yep.
I have to think about Hopper.
Hopper's the one, mate. You got to get
Hopper's the
Hopper in.
one.
Oscar
I gotta
Baker,
think about
named
it.
on a wing,
Yep.
as is
Nice.
McRae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trelaw played well last week, actually.
Yeah, Trelaw's been good. Trelaw's been great for him. He's been named on the ball, Trelaw, with Libba.
Yeah. Well deserved, I think, after his performance last week.
Agreed. Bailey Humphrey on debut this week. Congratulations to Bailey. Oh, Flanders is injured. We all knew that.
Yeah.
Sexton's a sub.
Where's our boy?
Constable's not even in the emergency, so Constable is a loop option.
Yeah.
This
Correct.
week.
Yeah. It's rough, man.
Damn,
no.
Cash Gen's going to be. I'm running with Constable and Chesser.
Yeah, you're in trouble,
That's
DR.
rough.
You really got to be careful, mate. Like, it's. I don't like saying it, but a lot of us went Constable to Chandler last week.
Chesser.
And it worked out. Oh, sorry, Chesser to Campbell
That was a
to
great
Chandler
move.
last week.
Yeah.
Cool. You don't want to get stuck two dead rookies on your bench. I mean, I currently have it with Constable and Madden, but 2 or 3 on your bench and you're in trouble.
Good. Not
especially
good.
with
Vitel an emergency. Vitel's an emergency, so Vitel could be a sub this week for his second game, which is probably not ideal because if he gets subbed on third, fourth quarter, could drop a bad score sitting there for his second game. It's not like his first game. If his first game was the sub, then that's not a big deal. But the second game makes it worse. So you got to keep an eye on Vitel, see if he's named as a sub. And our good friend Anthony named on the field. On your Anthony.
Come on, well done, mate.
Legend. All right.
Yep, scrolling down.
Sydney versus Port.
A few changes.
Is this a Sunday game? Are these Sunday games or Saturday games? No, these are Saturday games. Okay. Nothing really changed for the Swans. They go as is. Lockie Jones dropped. Query dropped. Bonner dropped. Fantasia injured. What's new? Darcy Burn dropped. So there's a lot of a statement here. Hinkley's fighting for his job.
On the bench. Horn Francis on the bench.
Dylan Williams, did he debut last year? Or is his first game? Dylan Williams?
No, not his first game. If it was his first game, I would have said new.
Of course, you're right, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's played before. Okay. I think you're right. I think he did debut last year.
One game for a 30 and then has come back again this week.
Okay.
Best of luck to him. Connor Rosie named at half forward, but that's what he does. He rotates between half forward and on the ball. Nothing surprising there. Cool. Yep. Oh, Amadi has also still. That means Amadi is still playing. For those who are on the Amadi party, he's on the bubble this week. He's named, but on the interchange. So yeah, he's probably gonna. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't go Amadi personally, but he could have a lot of money. CBZT is back. This is Sunday, so this is extended with the massive benches. But I think BZT will play, which is good for Ridley.
Yep.
Oh, Cadman and would they name two debutants and not player?
How can Cadman be in and Cadman be out, Joe? How does that work? How can Fahey be in and Fahey be out? I think that's a bit of
where's the out? I don't get it.
Oh no, new. Sorry, my bad. I got excited. Whoops.
Well,
yeah, they named. Surely they can't both be sub. Imagine one gets played, the other is the sub, and then they sub one out for the other. There you go. Now you both played a bit of game time. No, that's not how that works. But not bad.
Ralston named
new rookies.
Yeah, as we say, they're giving him opportunity in the middle. Just possession count.
He's the one they got in like the pick in the 17 or something in the draft.
Yeah,
right.
almost 140K. I think he'll set you back, but
Yeah, pick 16.
interesting.
So there's no outs for the Sunday games. That gets confirmed tomorrow, which means that we don't have confirmation as of yet if Setterfield is out with his corky.
Mm.
Looking at the interchange, Snelling won't be played on the ball. He's a small forward, small defender, halfback, washed, key forward, small forward, ruck.
Before I head off,
small forward.
And
there are no real midfielders here to take Setterfield's position.
No, there's not
on the interchange. So that could be a good sign that there's no one that can come in to replace Setterfield, which could mean that he's going to play this week.
Could McGrath go to the wing and then Nick Martin go to half forward?
Nick Martin,
he played there last year, right?
Yeah, they have rotations on the wing, but Setterfield isn't primarily a winger. So Setterfield's primarily an inside mid for us. So there's no inside mids here that can take his spot.
It'd be good for Ridley, like Zerk, Thatcher in, and if one of Hind or D'Ambrosio went out, that would be great for Ridley, I think. But
correct.
So So you
guys might want to pause on your trades. Wait for you don't have to have anything
tomorrow night
now.
Wait till tomorrow
night's team sheets. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Scroll down one, Joe.
Woof. You got an essay.
Oops, they got a few injuries today.
Wow.
Ryan injured, McGovern injured, Cripps injured, Shane injured,
Joe's back.
Chestnut injured, Witherden injured. They're all injured. I'm not laughing at the fact that they're injured. I'm just simply shocked at how many from one game. And they couldn't be coming up against worse opposition. Let's be real. Oh, Lord. So Yo is in. That's massive. For people, again, I would never go early on anyone. But Yo is in. That's big.
In the guts. Named in the guts.
I'm just looking at that Melbourne team. Chandler's named on the interchange. Not that that can't change, but yeah, that could hurt a lot of people.
So who plays there? So Pickett plays. Yeah. Rivers,
I assume Chandler comes in and plays. But we'll see.
Oh, if Ben Brown's out, you'd imagine that the key is just a straight McDonald for Brown.
Yes, McDonald, Pickett.
Interesting.
Melksham, I think, is more of a sub. They'd never play Melksham full time.
Chandler's in the coaches' votes last week. I can't see the way he gets omitted. So I think it's definitely Pickett, Chandler, 100%. But Tom McDonald probably.
Can't wait for the West Coast tanking expos from Damien Barrett.
Expose, yeah. Oh my Lord, yeah. So, these guys are all going to be in. Melksham, I can't see him be more than a sub. Tomlinson, I don't know if he gets played. We've already said that McDonald comes in for Brown. Cozzy Pickett comes straight in.
Absolutely.
For who though? There's no way Van Ruin gets dropped after his performance last week.
Chandler should play,
man. There's no way Chandler gets dropped. Seriously?
I reckon it'll be the ones that will be named would be probably Cozzy, Tom McDonald, Chandler, and maybe a Rivers.
Yeah,
for me.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
maybe Jordan. They love James Jordan as the sub because he can kind of play everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The last game, I won't name where Will Day's names, but it's pretty juicy.
Weddle is playing.
Will Day, Joe, number 12. Number 12, Will Day.
What about him?
Well, look where he is.
Named on the ball as his Nash. Oh my God. Warple is a trade out.
Yeah, and
Where is
Mackenzie's there
Warple?
as well. Mackenzie's on the bench, so we'll see if that
Look where
matters.
Warple is.
Wow.
Warple
okay.
is an interchange.
Will Finn go to
my-
Tom Stewart, you think? Finn goes straight to Tommy?
Straight to Tom Stewart, you reckon?
Where else does he go? Like, do they have anyone damaging
Yeah,
enough in
gotta
the
be.
midfield for him to play there? I don't know if there is.
Yeah, it's got to be. None of these
I'd be
guys
sending
would
him
get tagged. You
straight
wouldn't
to
tag
Tommy.
Jasny, Parfit, Duncan. Yeah, you'd go straight to Stewart, 100%.
I hope that's the case because we need a low score if we're planning on bringing him in. We don't want him getting anywhere near his break even. So
Correct. Yeah, no, I think they go straight to Stewart. Double dummies. Any concern regarding Mackenzie for the Hawks? Yeah, Mackenzie's here, but there's no way they drop him. Who do they drop
No
him for?
way.
Chad.
No.
He already played in the team with Chad. Jacob Kaczynski's only just rejoined the main group for training. I can't imagine that they'd rush him in ASAP. They know they're not contending this year. Why would they risk one of their best key forwards to come straight into this game? I can't see it personally. Weddle, he's been named. I can't see him not play. I don't like Sam Mitchell as a person, but I can't imagine he'd be that bad.
Ouch.
To
Little drive by
Sorry.
from Joey.
Fellas,
Boom.
I need to head off. Thanks for coming on, DR. You guys finish off the stream. I'll be back.
Hey, I was meant to go at 6:30 actually, mate. I've
there
just
you
looked.
go.
I'm traveling over to my cousin's house to watch the game
best
tonight.
of luck with the game. Come
Oh,
on,
thanks,
come on,
man.
Lions.
Let's go, Lions.
I'm actually confident. Don't know why. It's probably like the end of term. I've absolutely lost my mind. That's probably where the confidence is coming from, boys. But look, back at the Gabba, we're a proud team. We're going to bounce back, I think. We're going to bounce back. Josh Dunkley, come on. 150 time. 150 time, Josh. Let's do it, mate. Let's do it.
Is he our VC
So,
tonight?
hey, guys, thank you so much again for having me on. It's always great having a chat with you two legends, as you know. So thank you, as always, guys. All the best of luck this week.
I'll catch
And
you guys.
set a goat.
Set a
You'll get
goat.
up.
Set a goat for life. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
on, DR. Enjoy the game, mate. We'll talk to you soon.
Easy.
Catch you, brothers.
See
See
you,
you guys. Bye.
See you, big
Remember,
guys.
guys, I think Joe can finish us off. Sorry, I have to head off.
Yeah.
I've got some family stuff, so we'll go. Joe, before I head off, Ridley,
Yeah.
Doherty, Callahan out for Hopper, Day, and Laird in. What do you reckon?
Ridley, Doherty, and
Yep,
Callahan.
Hopper,
for-
Day, and Laird. I'm like 5K off
Yep.
getting
Yep.
Oliver in. 5K
Yep.
off getting Oliver in. We'll see.
That's fine.
I'm playing around with
I think
it.
that's fine.
Cool. All right. See ya.
See ya. Jono, how's it going? Thanks for coming on. The legends are gone. The only one legend left. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to let me know. Any other questions about these team sheets? Yeah, Brandon Zerk-Thatcher is the big inclusion in for us at Essendon. So if you're holding on to Ridley, I think you can be expected to see a good score. Where's DR gone? DR's gone to his cousins. They're going to go watch the game tonight between Brisbane and Collingwood. DR's got some big calls about this game. I would not be surprised if he was to VC Dunkley tonight. I'm really unsure what to do for my team. Well, put the question in, Jono, and see if I can help you out. Duke, Buckley or Liam Jones? I know Big J's big on Buckley, Duke, but personally, I'm on the side of Liam Jones. I know it might seem crazy, but Liam Jones, that 5 is now out of his system, and his break-even is now back in the negatives again. What that means is that his cash gen can well and truly flourish now, and he doesn't have that poor score in his system anymore. I think he's cemented himself in their best 22. They're going to play him every game, and historically, he's been good for 70s, 65 to 70 odd. So if you're looking for a mid-price downgrade option, I think Liam Jones is probably the safer one. Buckley, I watched his highlights on the AFL app. So guys, if you don't know this, another cool way to do some research into your players is if you go to the AFL app on the thing and you go down to stats, you can search for any player you want, and then you can actually click on them and you can press watch any game that they have, and you can press extended highlights. And what that does is it takes you through, and you get to watch every involvement that they have. If it's a 1%er, if it's a ground ball get, if it's a tackle, and you get to see how they look. For me, looking at Buckley's game, it looked like he was very defensive, very one-on-one, and really wasn't involved in the play. His role was 100% a one-on-one player. He would stick to his player like glue. There was no peeling off or anything like that. He's definitely a spoiling player, almost like a lockdown defender. And if you look at his scores, he's not inefficient at all. And we know in football it can get pretty chaotic, it can get pretty crazy, and it's very hard. Even the stars will have games where they stink it up disposal-wise. And we've seen that with Canelio, and we saw that with Doherty, and even with Bont last week. So this guy, if he has one of those games where he's defensively minded one-on-one, and he gives away a couple of free kicks, or he has a couple of turnovers, that will kill his scoring. So I think Liam Jones is safer. Big Tommy Joe, if my D's drop Chandler right as I trade him in after Michael the D came to Buck, I'm going to have to fly to WA. Big Tommy, I might join you, mate. They can't do this to us. They cannot do this to us. I traded him in last week for Chessa, but I had him on the bench and didn't have his score. So, look, it is what it is. Justin, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. John O'Carroll, my team is called Man of Steel, and I have 186.3. I'll have a look at it now. Yeah, double dummy. It's a really cool feature. 100%. If you guys, anyone out there that's watching that didn't know about it, it's really important, because looking at the stats is one thing, but you also got to have a look at how if they pass your eye test, because, all right, some things can go your way for a couple of weeks, but you got to look to see if it's sustainable, if it's reliable, if it's replicable. And personally, I don't think it is. Duke, need to trade Goto to someone 309K or below in defense. Yeah, I'm not against Jones. I'm not against Jones. He is a cash gen player. Luke, Ridley, Warple, Darcy out. Day, Hopper, English in. Day for Ridley. English for Darcy. Hopper for Warple. I think these are, if you want to save a boost, which in and out would you hold off from? Also, do you prefer Day or Hopper? I think Hopper's better. Hopper's named on the ball. Hopper showed us last week what he's capable of doing. I don't have the biggest faith in Day. Obviously, there's upside. There's no denying it. But Day was up against a North Melbourne midfield that had no LDU and no Simpkin. That is huge. Like, you cannot understate how massive those outs were for North Melbourne. And if they were in, there's no way Hawthorn was going to win last week. So I don't trust Sam Mitchell as far as I can throw him, to be completely honest. I think they're tinkering with their team a lot. Day's also never played a full season out. So I don't know. It's very hard to be very trusting of him. And for that price, you're basically picking him to be a keeper. For me, I probably wouldn't force a trade to get Day in, personally speaking. Luke, no chance. Chandler's drop. We'll put 20K on it. Look, I'm not here to bet with you, Lukey. Yeah, I don't have 20K to bet on anyway. Unless he's not 100% for some reason, yes. Theo, my man, would you put the Eon Phillips or Baker if McDonald is not playing? Would you put the Eon Phillips or Baker? Phillips or Baker? I think Baker plays first. Does he? Baker, yeah. Phillips plays first. So Phillips is Phillips is a good shout. But then again, he is playing against Carlton, and Carlton's midfield though has never been weaker. It's actually insane. their midfield right now is Brian Cripps, Hollins, Chera, Kerno. You know what I mean? Like, Phillips is a shout. Phillips is very capable, whereas Baker is playing against Richmond, was it? I think. Baker's playing Richmond at the MCG? Yeah. Richmond, they played the MCG so well, and a lot of Baker's scoring last week just came... The Brisbane Lions were really disappointing last week. They were really, really disappointing, and their pressure wasn't great around the ball. And a lot of Baker's score would come from him kicking to the top of the goal square and having someone mark it. He got a lot of score assists that way. I'm not sure if that is sustainable. I reckon Phillips is a fair shout for an emergency, and if it doesn't work, then so be it. No issues with Decam to English and Callahan to Chandler. Chandler goes on field over Ratatouille. Ratatouille has been such a disappointment for people who owned him. He knows. He limits himself so much. The cash gen just isn't there with him. Decam to English and Callahan to Chandler. Yeah, that's sensational. My team's called the Duke, and my Shielders Hawthorn cars are 90. Can you have a look at my team? Help me out. So I've got to look at your team, and I've got to look at John O'Carroll's team. Double dummy. I don't get the English for Darcy. It's a primo sideways trade when he isn't injured. If you were worried about the cash, you traded Shrek last week. You held them then, so why trade now? The only reason why double dummy people didn't trade Sean Darcy last week was exclusively because of the matchup. If he literally had anybody else apart from West Coast, I can guarantee you he would have been 100% traded out. People kept him for the points as a captaincy option. So I understand that money is a massive and important deal, but at the end of the day, the team that wins SuperCoach isn't the team that has the most money in the bank. It's the team that scored the most points over the course of the year. Money is used to buy points. You're using money to get the points. So, and they found that last week, there was no better use of money, and there was no way that they could get better points than holding on to Darcy for another week. They used him, they've abused him, and now they're getting rid of him for someone better. And a lot of in English, as long as English is healthy, he's R1. What he's doing week after week is ridiculous. He's a ruckman like one that we haven't seen before. He is almost like the Dacos of ruckman. And if you watch him, he's always presenting as an option out of a kick-in. You know, like he's spread around the ground. You look at his heat map, it's mostly behind the ball. And the addition of lob has been so huge for him that he doesn't have to push forward much anymore. He doesn't fly to crash for marks, which has been his problem, that his lack of durability. The role that he's playing now is actually better for him, is caring for his body more, because he's playing behind the ball. He's picking it up. He's not pushing himself into dangerous places. So if anything, this could be the year. It could be the year English plays all year. And if he does that, then he's R1 by the length of the Flemington straight. Hippo, hey mate, look, they come into like this. What? Guys, if you haven't subbed to Hippo, you really got to. He's great. Love watching his vids. And his, this style, it's unlike other people's. And he knows what he's talking about. Little Day coming into my side this week. Thoughts? Look, depends for who. I remember watching your vid about it. I forgot who you traded out for it, mate. Who you traded out for Day. I think Day is possible. Day is possible. There is upside. There is upside. The problem isn't talking about his talent. The question is about role change. There you go, Gov. Yeah, that's right, Gov. Yeah, do it. I'd do it. Gov to Day. Good job. Your decisions made fairly easy that way. For me, if I'm thinking about getting him, I'd have to trade out a guy like Ridley. But I'm really set on flipping Ridley to Stewart next week. So that's probably the big thing holding me back. And I don't really like trading out Warple, sidewaysing him to Day. I don't know. There's something weird about it. I'm thinking of, I don't want to sideways mid prices. I think that's just a waste of a trade personally. Yeah, Luke, and Day, poor injury history, unfortunately, though hopefully he starts to get past that bad luck. Yeah, that's the thing. Again, so you got injury history and you also have consistency of role. So that's the thing. Like, it's so hard to really be sure about even how the Hawks structure up entirely. Because if you go to DFS Australia, and we look at the center bounce attendances, where am I looking here? And we look at the center bounce attendances for the Hawks this year. Now, when I tell you Hawthorn midfield, I think I speak for most of us when I say you'd think of Warple. Sorry, not Warple. You'd think of Newcomb, Jai Newcomb, the Duke. Like, surely you'd think of Jai Newcomb as the on-baller for the Hawks. But when you look at the center bounce attendances, can I zoom in, please? There we go. When you look at the center bounce attendances for Jai Newcomb, 71%, and all of a sudden it just drops to 52%. Like, overnight, he's lost 20% of his CBAs. 19%. I get it, all right? Don't be pedantic here. But just like that, Jai Newcomb, like the guy who should be on the ball. And then you look at Warple. Again, also, he has 77% and then something under 54 and 57. It's bizarre. Will Day, 26%, all of a sudden is up to 63 and 65. Like, this fluctuation, this variance in the center balances. Connor Nash, 26%. Then up to 46. Then up to 74. Like, it's these. That this is the year where Hawthorn are tinkering with things, trying to figure out themselves what they've got on the list, who is going to be the best 22, best 23, best 24 moving forward. Who else survives the cull of this rebuild? It's no secret that Hawthorn aren't contending for the grand final this year. All right? That's fairly uncontroversial. They're looking to find what their best mix is. They're going to tinker. It is what it is. And Sam Mitchell is very happy to change the team depending on matchup because he is a very proud person and he wants to win as much as he can this year. Of that, I have no doubt. In terms of on the day tanking, there is no question that is completely and utterly false. The Hawks want to win every game they can, and they will change the team depending on the matchup. And that's what you're sort of seeing with the fluctuations in the center bounce attendances. So that's why I'm really uncertain and hesitant when it comes to these Hawthorn players. Luke's talking to someone else. You're talking about Hippo. Yep. Well, there could be a keeper or a D7. All right, if you got Duke, you're a Hawthorn man. I'll defer to your judgment. I'm just obviously talking about it as a guy from the outside, looking at the statistics. If Hawks supporter reckons that Day could be a full-time inside mid, he's never done that before in his life. And his injury history isn't something that's to sing praises about. I just worry if I was to trade him in and something was to happen, it'd be a waste of a trade. Should I trade Callahan or Warple? And who to? I think Callahan's break even is something that's really it's really tragic, isn't it? His cash generation. He's got a break even of 69. He's projected to lose around 4.5K. Look, it sucks. It really does suck. But I'm thinking someone like Warple probably has better hopes of making money. He's had one bad game in his system, and he just needs one good game to bounce back and restart that cash gen. His break even is 50. He's been able to do that for the first 2 weeks. And he's up against the Cats, who are really struggling. The Cats are currently the 16th hardest matchup for midfielders. So this could be a good day for Warple. I reckon you can hold him, and Callahan is probably the bigger priority to trade out. Who would you trade Callahan to? It depends on who you've got, mate, in your team, whether or not you've got some DPP swing somewhere that you're missing. Double done with Hippo ran after the round is worth the sub. Just do it. 100%. 100%, guys. You're going to get great content from Hippo. If you haven't subbed to him, you got to get him up there, guys. And in fact, Hope you're still here, Hippo. This is him, guys. He's a SUPERCOACH addict. I think we all are. Thinking of going VC on Neil tonight. Thoughts? Look, it's ballsy. And that's the thing with the VC, it's like a free swing at someone that has tremendous upside. If you listen to DR reckons Dunks is going 140 plus tonight. So you could go Dunks tonight if you go by what DR has to say. Yeah, and Stuart caught McGuinness this week. Oh, I'm praying he does that, Hippo. I'm praying that that he cops the tag and he gets absolutely tagged to oblivion. I really hope that's the case. When Hawks played the Cats in the bracket game, who does McGuinness go to? Cats flogged them, so it might not matter. Look, it might not matter, but we just want Stewart's price to drop as much as we can, so I can flip Ridley to him. That's all I want. Personally, I think they will keep the role. It's just as a 400k cash gen buy flip player, he needs to do pretty damn well to be a decent pick. I agree, Luke. Who's your pick for VC and C this week? Just traded in English, so watch me put the VC on him, and he pulls an LDU on us. Just traded English, so watch me put the VC on him. Yeah, English is definitely a shout. And there was a report that Jimmer Hardwick was saying that Nankervis has pulled up sore, so he might not be able to run out. I think he was going to struggle running with English already. English is definitely a very viable VC. Who's my VC? Oh, this is what I had last week. Look, I don't know if you guys these were my trades this week. You can let me know if this is crazy or not. I've been tossing and turning all week. No idea what I'm supposed to do. If I resign, if I believe that Doherty is not top 6 anymore, then I can trade him out before I bleed any more cash. There are a lot of people in here in this stream today that were saying, "Oh, Doherty was last year's short. You got to get off him as soon as possible." And I can almost see the resemblance to it. And I held short for far too long last year, and it burnt me. You can let me know if these trades are bad, if these trades are lunacy. But the way I had my team structured, I just didn't have a clear VC, a C option. I had a few VC options, but whether or not they were genuine captaincy options, that's the thing that's been killing me. So for me, I'm just going to do a Bont into Oliver. That's what the trade allows me to do. And then I've still got 45k in the bank. Something could happen this week, next week, in order to improve my team further. It's not a lot of money, but I'm fairly confident that I've locked in M1 now, and I've got rid of Warple, who might not do great. It is possible for me to boost and do like a Ridley down to a day, if you guys think so. But yeah, Hippo, man, like that's the thing, man. Like, he gets so much cheap balls. Just had a weird game. I know it was such a weird game last week. Not even just for him. It was weird for him. It was weird for Cogs, who I've got there. It was weird for Bont. Like, maybe it was just, look, it was a weird week. My team's primos were destined to do shit last week. It is what it is. This trade can obviously be reversed. None of those players are playing tonight, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, I'll sleep on it. But I think Docs is still going to be okay. It's just a question of if he's top 6, because he's competing with. Let's have a look at that. So you look at the top 6 defenders. Who do you reckon the top 6 defenders are? You're probably going to have someone like Sicily's got to be up there. You got to have Stewart up there. You got to have Dawson up there. You've got to have Dacos up there. So that's 4. Would you put a Sinclair up there with all the midfielders still to come back? If they were to come back and he plays exclusively off halfback like we saw last year, that's the top 8 potential defender. Sard has been pumping out 110 plus, which appears to be top 8 as well. in terms of, or top 6 in terms of the defenders. Luke Ryan has been doing okay. He seems to, is this sort of things that could really be, I suppose, continued moving forward. So there are a few players that are top 6, almost locks, and then you have a few that are fighting for that spot. You've even got someone like a Zeeble, who could end up with defensive DPP, who could be a keeper through the year. He could average 100 to 105. Sheasel, is Sheasel the greatest player of all time in his first season, can average 116 from start to finish? Look, he could be. Obviously, it's still early days, all right? And I'm not entering into this discussion assuming that Sheasel's going to be a keeper. But, there are a few players that are vying for that top 6 position that aren't Doherty's price. That's the thing. What better use can I do with the money? And Oliver's run, I just look at his run and I just think, this is ridiculous. Why didn't I start him? Like, why am I an idiot for not starting him? Like, but to be fair, it could have been so much better if the light debacle didn't happen at the Gabba, because he was not pumping out. He was not on track for a 135. The game stopped. Brisbane cooled down. He came back and went on an absolute tear. So look, it could have been a good play, but unfortunately, it seems like the universe is trying to tell us, you got to get this bastard in. I'm sorry. I love you, Clary, but I sort of hate that you cost that much. Axel, after round 1 score of 144, should we potentially thinking of bringing in Pickett if he turns up again this week? Thinking about it? Absolutely. You should definitely think about it. Because if you got a guy who he's getting like 24% CBAs, I'm pretty sure. When he had, and then I'm pretty sure there was an interview done with Simon Goodwin who said that a 40-60 split between the mids and the forwards for Pickett. And if that's the case, then that's insane, because he had 24% in round 1 for a really big score. But you got to take into consideration that part of the reason why he had such a massive score, he kicked 4 goals 1. Was it 4 goals 1? Round 1. 4 goals 1. Yep. He kicked 4 goals 1 in that game. You know what I mean? So it's is Cozzy Pickett going to kick 4 goals 1 every single game? Probably not. Otherwise, he's winning the Coleman in that situation. And I can't remember, when was the last time a small forward won the Coleman? And you look at that heat map, forward of center. He's definitely one to look at. But whether or not what he shows you on the weekend is something that's going to be sustainable moving forward, he's playing against the Eagles, who have half their side out with injury. So it could be, it's just going to be a free swing by the looks of things. In no order: Dacos, Stewart, Sinclair, Sicily, Dawson, Doherty. Are your top 6? Yeah, that's fair. That is definitely fair. It just sucks that he's dropping in price so much. I'm going to reverse my trades here. And let me just make sure that I'm not fielding anything crazy before the game starts. Emergency on Wilmot. Green. Yeah, cool. Yep. And that's all for today. Yep. I can agree with you, Jono. I think, again, there are question marks, though, over... Wait. All right. Team thoughts. All right. I'll have a look at your team. What was your team name again? It was... Sheesh. Got to scroll up. Where was your team? Man of Steel. All right. Sorry. We're revealing your team to everybody. Doc, Dacos, Stocker, nice. Jimby, McKenna, Cowan, Wilmot, Constable, Neil as a VC. Could go big. Bont, Green, Golden, Setters, Ashcroft, McKenzie, Hollands. Cool, we got Hollands. Is that on field, though? Yeah, it is. Baker, Davey, Chesser. English Marshall, cool. Dunkley, Cogs. Yeah. Very nice. What sort of question did you have for me though? Team thoughts. Your team looks good, Jono. I like it. There's no one that is very clearly someone that you have to trade out. That is a must-have. You've just told me now that you believe that Doherty is a top 6, so you don't trade him out. Stock has still got a lot of money to come. You're fielding Cowan. Probably best to obviously have, you'd be looping between him and Wilmot. Oliver in for Cogs or nah? Cogs is a keeper. Cogs is a a top 6 forward. I think without a shadow of a doubt. He had a great game, barring, of course, he got absolutely shafted. Let's be real. He got absolutely shafted by the umpire. He lost a lot of points for that. Free kick away directly to a goal. That is terrible. It absolutely killed whatever scoring he had, and he had a really poor disposal efficiency. I think Cogs is a keeper, man. I wouldn't be trading out keepers. Only trade out people. That's why I'm saying, like, I would only trade out Doherty if I came to the conclusion that he's not a top 6 defender. Yeah, no, don't trade him. I think Cogs is very safe to hold. Yeah, Cicely Dawson, Stuart Dacos probably locks Rester up in the air. Yeah, exactly. He's not. I'm not sure if Doherty can match these guys. I think these 4 are the clear top 4 defenders, and I'm not sure if Doherty can match them. I think Doherty probably is 5 to 10 points less than them. Does that mean that he's still top 6? Luke, Cicely, Dacos, Dawson, Stewart, Sard, and one more. Yeah, exactly. So if Sard's going 110, like we've seen in the preseason, that he, without Williams, he averages 110. So if he does that again this year, I don't know. I don't think Doherty can go 110. I think Doherty goes between 100 to 105. And for 568K, if I look at 568 divided by 5.5, he's gonna lose money. He's gonna lose money that way. Yeah, Dacos is in there for sure. Could you bin Ridley instead of Doc, or not enough cash? I mean, I could try to bin Ridley. If I try binning Ridley and Warple, who I'm not 100% sold on Warple, and that 45 absolutely kills his cash gen. He has to go big. I can only do 210. You know what I mean? Like in the back line, like 210 in the back line is really sketch. There's no one at this price point, unless I was to not do an Oliver, unless I was to do Oliver Light before the price rise. You know what I mean? Got a guy like LDU who will never be this cheap ever again. Is something. You know what I mean? Like it's and then who would I have here? Look, I'm actually, of all these players, I'm not even joking. I'm actually willing to go back to Jones, simply because of his price and that he's going to make money. And I can bank and I can leave 117K in the bank for me to do some moves. What that then means is I can maybe VC, LDU, and probably go all out, balls to the wall, and captain Bontempelli. That's, bank the cash, leave enough wiggle room to maybe bring in a guy like Stewart next week. Is Dunkley a good VC? I'm going lead into Bond for now. Well, Duke, if you listen to DR and you trust him, his gut feel is saying that he's going to go 140 plus tonight. That's literally what he said. He literally said Dunks is going 140 plus. So if that's the case, then that is definitely a VC option. Careful with Bont. C. Duke going to be raining pretty heavily Saturday, Melbourne. Okay. What does that mean? What do I do? Who do I captain now? Yeah, I know. It is ballsy, but I'm losing. I'm not that high up. I got to make some moves to move up. And I think LDU will never be this cheap again. And when we look at he actually is a gun. You watch him play, he's actually really good to watch. They really have one here, North Melbourne. And it's not like it's coming out of the clouds, because he was sort of building towards it toward the back end of last year. He started to go on this run where he started to heat up. He had a few 80s there, and then he went up to 90s. Then he had a few tons, 130, 120, 140. Like, so it's not like it's coming out of the clouds. It's something that has been forecasted, something that's coming along. Not his first year in the system. I'm actually willing to trust that this guy is going to be a top 8 mid. You could even wait a week. You could wait a week on him, and I still might. I just like having this interaction with other smart people like yourself. His break even's 21. If he goes 114, he's gone up 42k. You know what I mean? And this Carlton midfield is missing Walsh and it's missing Kennedy. You know what I mean? Like the Carlton midfield has never been this weak. This could be a real opportunity for LDU to do well. Yeah, it is ballsy, man. It's ballsy. But if we're playing the value game, it's nothing too crazy, I don't think. Can you look at my team too? Yeah, Duke, sure. What was your team name? Is it just called the Duke? Can you look at it? I posted it above. Did you? Jeez. If it might have a lot of scrolling if I was to do that. Can you please post it again for me, Duke? I really appreciate it, mate. Sean, how are you, Sean? Thoughts? Bring in Chandler or Noah Long? This finalizing other trades. I wouldn't go Long personally. I think Chandler is much safer. Long scored as much as he did last week because he was forced to stay on the ground. They didn't have the rotations. Yeah, I'm not sold on Long. Whereas Chandler, mate, he's got a great. If you gotta also make sure the team sheets, check the team sheets. If Chandler's not named this week, then obviously you don't have to bring him in this week. But if out of these two, I'd definitely go Long. Chandler. Dr. Oliver or Darcy to English? Darcy to English for me. Who do I go for Callahan this week? Wait, what does Callahan cost again? 263. I don't know who you're missing, Causa. I don't remember what your team was off the top of my head. You could downgrade to Ralston, who was named on the ball again. So they're clearly giving him CBAs, and they're giving him midfield minutes, and he's even kicked out Ward. See, Harry Ralston right there on the ball, named in the middle. And if I go to CBAs and you go to GWS, they're really backing in Ralston. He didn't play week 1. They give him 61.59%. So they're giving him opportunities even above a guy like Ward. So if there's a downgrade rookie that you want to get rid of Callahan, I think Ralston's a shout. LDU and bank 150k or bring in Oliver. I'm concerned of the amount of points I'm going to miss with Melbourne upcoming future. I know, Charlie, I completely understand. It's going to be stupid, the points that we're going to miss. For people who started Clary, congratulations. You guys have absolutely hit the jackpot. I can't get Oliver in unless I was to trade out Doherty or Cogs. But Cogs is top 6 forward. Guaranteed. He is. I don't want to trade out keepers. Doherty was the one that I wasn't sure of. I would love to get rid of Ridley, but I think Ridley could be someone that I flip to Stewart. If you have any premiums in your team that you aren't convinced are going to be top of their line, then I think you can go Oliver. But it also depends on how highly you rate LDU. You've looked at him. You've done your research on him. And if you weren't here, you can certainly watch his highlights on the AFL app if you were to do that. I don't know if For anyone who wasn't there, in the AFL app, in the bottom right, there's stats. You click on stats, you can search up any player and watch. And then you make sure that when you click on them, you don't just do the highlights, you select extended highlights. And what that ends up happening is you get to see all of their involvement in the match. If you like what you see from LDU and you think that he can go relatively similar, maybe just a little bit less than Oliver, then you're winning money-wise. Because that 150K you can put towards upgrading another mid-pricer to a premium. Yeah, all right, Duke, can you please send the team? It's the dilemma of all dilemmas, LDU or Oliver. Clary could get massive this week. LDU will just make a truckload of money. I want both, but can't do it. Look, it can be done. Look, I can show you right here. It can be done, but you have to blow up your team for it. Like, you could have these premiums. You could be like, you know what, Doherty, you're not top 6 defender. You go. Cogs, stuff you. You're going to drop in money a lot as well. Who else? There you go. Ridley. Oh, I have to activate a boost, of course. Oh, Ridley, you're no good. You're not going to be a top 6 defender either. Bang. Both of you guys are gone. Oh, wait, I know I did it before. Someone has to go from here. Oh, it was Warple. That's right. And I also have to trade out Warple. Yeah. And then you can get Clary. And then you can get LDU. And then for 276, how much is Liam Jones again? Bang. And then you get a mid-pricer. And there you go. You've completely done it. You've gone both. Oliver, you've gone both Clary and LDU and Jones. What have you given up? You've given up Cogs and Doherty and Warple in order to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely possible. Constable is not even an emergency. Correct. Constable is completely dropped. He's playing VFL. Hey, Joe, check my team. It's Django. Okay. Is in Django Unchained? I love that movie. Quentin Tarantino, seriously. There's a number of Djangos, Justin. You're not the only one, unfortunately. And these are called John and Squeak. Are you Squeak? You gotta let me know. Big Tommy. What score does JVR need for you to get an automatic trade in next week? What score does he have to get? Look, I think he's an automatic trade in next week because simply just by virtue of his role. He's playing key forward for a gun team that's going to get the ball to him a lot. And he also pinch hits in the ruck. So I think his role is automatically good and automatically better than Fergus Green. I think Green becomes him for me next week. And I can't wait for it personally. I really hope Green can do well for me this week to make a bit more money. But other than that, I think if JVR goes 65, 70 plus, you don't have to think twice about it. Do you reckon I just hold? Yeah, I think I said that. Can you look at mine too? Is Cam Suvlaki is unsure what to do this week? I have 27K in the bank. Cam Suvlaki, there we go, quarter. Let's have a look. Dawson, Doherty, Dacos, Jones, McKenna, Cowan, looping with Wilmot. Yep, it's great. Laird, Bont, Green, Setters, Hopper, Finn. Yeah, Finn's got to go, I think. Ashcroft, Jimby. Great rookies to have. McKenzie on the bench. Wow, that's very deep. Witts and Darcy. Whoa, you're playing darts. You're playing darts, Causa. Not bad. Dunkley, Rosie, Taranto, Golden Cheezel, Chandler. Great team. It really is a great team. If you don't think Sean Darcy is the top 3, top 2, top 4 ruck, if you're unsure about Sean Darcy, then you can get rid of him. You can trade him to an English, or you can trade him to a Grundy if you think he can make a lot of money, or you've already got Wits, or you can hold him. That's entirely up to you. And Finn's probably the one that's got to go. No one else, from what I can tell, there's no one else that's problematic. and you've got Laird. So you're in a situation where you have an uber primo mid that can be a captaincy option. Whereas for me, I just I traded him out. Was it overreactive? Maybe, but I needed Dacos. And Doherty didn't show me at the time that he was going to dish me up 2 sub-100 scores. If he had done that much earlier on in the piece, I would have been like, yep, excellent, Doherty gone. Let me get Dacos in. But of course, that wasn't to happen. Cheers, Joe. Thank you. No worries, Sean. All good, mate. The Duke. My team is the Duke. All right. The Duke. Let's have a look at the Duke. The Duke. Here we go. Let's have a look, Dukey. 92k in the bank. Very nice. Dacos, Rids. Yeah, same as me, mate. It's unfortunate. Jimby McKenna, Goda. Yeah, Goda. Goda's not the best, unfortunately. Let you down big time. Loop in there. Yeah, Led, Bond, Cogs, our fellow Cogs owner. Green, Setters, Hopper, Ashcroft. Great midfield. Obviously, the only one you're missing is Clary. As am I. Hollands, Baker, Alman, Davey. Great bench as well. Mashits. Yep, very nice. Dunkley, Rosie, Taranto, Gordon, Zeeble, Sheasel. Yep, great. Excellent. And you've even got Chandler and Green. Really good. What should you do, Duke? There's nothing really that screams out at you other than Goda isn't the best. And you don't have a defensive mid option, okay, in the mids. 2, 4, 10. How much do you have in the bank? Is that 92k? I think you can. I think you can get rid of Goda for someone who's 300k. Could do Goda to Jones. You don't have Jones. I think Jones can make you money, or maybe even a Ridley down to a day. And that would free up some more money to then maybe get Goda to another mid-pricer that you might like. Sean, but I had Chandler and started to doubt due to emergency. I think you should play. Gonna chuck on the game. Good luck for the round. Cheers, Hippo. Thank you so much for coming in, man. Phillips or Ralston? That's a good question, Matt, if you're still here. Phillips or Ralston? Look, Ralston's been given midfield minutes. He's been given the trust. He's been given the role, even over the likes of a Ward in the midfield, which is really impressive. And he's cheaper too. But Phillips, does he have more runs on the board? Perhaps. That's a tough one. I think you got to back your gut on this one. He's been named. Phillips has been named with both Simpkin and LDU, which is really good. Positive signs. I think you can roll the dice with Phillips. That's why I want Clary in for Cogs. Clary in for Cogs. Look, you're trading out one keeper for another keeper. You're going to end up having to trade Cogs back in. That's the thing at some point. You're going to have to trade him back in, and he could have a big game against Essendon this week. Back your gut, Jono. You're getting in the best player in the game. So really, can you be doing something wrong there? Probably not. I have to run, but thanks for the stream and DR2. Always great stuff. Good luck to your team. Go Hawks. Laters. See you, Sean. You're probably gone by now. Screw it. I'm going LDU instead of Oliver. I'll go Clary next week. Exactly. There's no... Clary's not going anywhere, Hippo. Clary, he's still going to be that same price. He's not going to get more expensive than he is. He'll have to average 140, 150 for him to go even higher in price. And as amazing as he is, he's not Gary Ablett Jr., is he? So, yes, LDU is cheap now. He won't be cheap forever. Clary is expensive now. He'll always be expensive. You get the budget, I think, option when you can. You get them on special while they're on special. So Ralston and English I can do this week. Nice causer. Very nice. Do you mind checking my team? It's Luca Magic. Sure thing, Eaton. Eaton says Luca. Oh, Luca as in Doncic? He's love watching Luca, mate. I'm a Laker myself, but after Kobe retired, I really wasn't too much into it. Rest in peace. All right. Dacos Rids, yeah, Rids, fellow Rids owner. We've been sucked in, mate. We've been sucked in. Stocko, Jimby, McKenna, Cowan, Luke. Oh, this defensive bench is an issue, mate. They're both gone, especially Chesser. Chesser is gone, skis. He's injured, so yeah, you've got to do something. How much? I don't know how much you've got left in the bank, but something's got to. That's not my one, by the way. Oh. This is not your one? Which one is it? This is Luca Magic. Hold or trade, mate. Wait, my gut says Clary in, but heart says hold. Gee, isn't the gut and the heart like the same thing when we're talking back your heart, back your gut? It's normally your head versus your heart, or your head versus your gut. I've never seen a gut versus a heart. Which one do you follow? When you say my you want to watch the game and you want to have some enjoyment out of the game too. Remember, this is a game. At the end of the day, this is a game. And if you're going to be worried to watch football because you're afraid that Clayton Oliver is going to do Clayton Oliver things, then just bring Clayton Oliver in. Like, you can't go into every week with this trepidation of I'm too scared to look. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't want to live my life that way, and it will turn you off the enjoyment of the game. And I mean, you might think, I mean, what's Canelio's ownership? Canelio's ownership is at 22%. Pretty sure Oliver is higher than 22%. Oliver is at 42%. If Clary pops off and we don't have him, more people are enjoying it, and we're the ones that are anti-podding him. So look, you can full send it. You can full send it, and I won't judge you for it. And you shouldn't judge yourself harshly for it either. He is by far and away M1. And the sort of performances that he's putting up week after week is just, they're getting better and better. And then you look at what's to come, I can completely understand. So you do have to back your gut or your heart. Which one do you like more? Then you would follow it, I suppose. It's Jones versus Buckley. I'm personally on Team Jones. Duke, as you should know by now. And I want Luka Doncic, the blue one. I love watching Clary more than Cogs. Yes, I think most people will agree that watching Clary pig it up, watching Clary just get contested possession after clearance, after quick little handball, is much better than watching Cogs. I agree. I agree. Neil into Clary for me this week via CNC. Yeah. Congratulations. You have just acquired the best player in the game. It feels good. It really feels good. For me, again, as you can see, I'm still tossing and turning whether or not I should go with it or not. My head's telling me to pass. Get him later. He's bound to drop a little bit in price. And he's not a must-have right now compared to a guy like LDU, who could go 110 for the rest of the year, be a top 8 midfielder for 550K. You know, like, if I just simply talk about it in terms of budget-wise, it just makes sense to me. I will 100% get Clary in at some point. Blue one. I don't see a blue one. I just see, is this your team? Sorry, this is Luka Doncic. You are Luka Magic. Apologies. Luka Magic. The blue one. This one. Okay, this is the blue one you're talking about. Doc, okay, fellow Doc owner and Ridley owner. Yes, I feel your pain wholeheartedly. Yep, looping between Wilmot and Cowan. Bond, Green, Golden, Setters, Hopper, Ashcroft. Yep, great midfield. Baker, Long, Chesser. Yeah, Chesser's got to go. Witts, Darcy, Cameron. Yeah, Darcy Cameron's got to go. Rosie, Taranto, Chandler on field. Very nice. Very nice. If you can get Darcy Cameron, to, you can choose. You can choose either Witts, English, or we already got Witts. Sorry, you can choose either English or Grundy. I think those are your two options. Grundy has to go after Gorn is back, so you know that he's gone. And English, if he stays healthy, is R1 for sure. If you can get Darcy Cameron up to English and you're rocking English Wits, I think that they are R1 and R2 for the year. You are absolutely laughing. And I don't know how many people have Wits English as a combination in the rucks. I think that's the winning combination. Justin Colson, squeak all bud. All right. So Django. Squeak. Here we go. Dawson, Dacos, Rampy. Come on, Justin. Jimmy, McKenna, Wilmot. Obviously, yeah. Oh, you got him on field. Fair enough. Took. Bont, Green, Setters, Hopper, Finn, Ashcroft, McKenzie, Baker, Long, Chess has got to go. Dunkley, Rosie, Taranto, DC's got to go. Zeeble and Shazel. Okay. So Darcy Cameron can go. Darcy Cameron, hey, if you downgrade Darcy Cameron to Chandler, that frees up a lot of cash. A lot of cash. Is that enough to get Chester up to someone? How much is that? Chandler is 206. 206 to 494. You free up roughly 200, almost 290K off that downgrade. That you can put to a lot of good use. About to bounce. Look, I don't have anybody in this game. It's like a Collingwood or Brisbane, and I'm not going to VC any of these guys either. So just make sure that you've got your Wilmot emergency before the game starts. VC is Dunks and C is I don't know yet. Yeah, that's the thing. With my current team as it's set up, I don't know who my C is going to be either. I have Dacos, that's right, but Dacos was not going to be my VC. I wasn't going to play Dacos VC. That's correct. Very astute of you, Jono. And I'm not going to trade him out either, that's for sure. So, look, I think we might just leave it there. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. Stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those good things. Yeah, if you like what you saw here today, want to join in some more things, make sure you hit that notification bell. We will be pumping up the regular content as usual. And yeah, DR was on. And DR, for those of you who are here who didn't actually see it, DR in his stocky, we feature in it. Let's just say there's a bit of center bounce magic. Mate, thank you so much, John, for coming on. Love the interaction. I'm really sorry for taking so long to actually see your team, but I'm glad we're able to talk about it before the game starts. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. And remember, here at the Center Bounce, we do the hard work so that you don't have to. Bye for now.